Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today here in, I want to say sunny Barbados, but it's beautiful as hell, but it's no longer sunny. Who are you and what has brought you here to Fintech Islands today?
I'm the co-founder and CEO of Island Pay. We are a licensed payment provider and EMI in the Bahamas, and we just did a launch of our Barbados operations earlier this week. I also came to this event to network with all of the other fintechs in the region and the ones that came in from overseas. And I spoke a little bit about CBDCs on a panel as well.
I've heard a lot about some of your operations in the Bahamas, obviously a lot of very different islands, a little bit about the kiosks and about the licensing. I want to know about your launch in Barbados. Why have you chosen Barbados to expand your product offering? What was it about the consumer here that made you think this is a perfect fit?
So I came to Barbados in 2018 and 2019 to speak with the regulator here and talk about launching mobile money. Barbados has similar financial inclusion issues that the Bahamas does. So the customer base is very similar. They're underbanked, unbanked. They don't have a wallet. They don't have a prepaid card. There's a lot of the similar challenges as Bahamas. Unfortunately, COVID came along and we didn't get to launch in 2020, which was our plan. So we've now come back in 2022 and we started installing our first kiosks with the transportation board here. And we're going to install 12 more by the end of this year. We got our first bill payment the day that we launched, and 60 or 70 wallets signed up on the day that we launched as well. So it's getting traction already.
Looking at Barbados, what's the kind of the opportunity here? Not just on the financial inclusion side, but just from a fiscal perspective. What's the opportunity?
Yeah, so it's a similar problem in a lot of Caribbean places where people will go in long lines to do things, to top up their mobile phone or pay a bill or get money from the government. And because we have a kiosk network, we put those kiosks in high traffic locations like a grocery store, a bus terminal, a post office, where people can have another place to go besides those other long lines, and it makes it more convenient for them and faster.
What's the flywheel here? What's the sort of acceleration, the kind of knock-on effect, not just to Island Pay directly, but to the economy as a whole?
Yeah, so we think that there's a lot of consumers that don't have access to digital payments or cards, and we also think there's a lot of merchants that have the same issue. They operate in cash. They take chances in holding the cash. There's risk of being robbed, and we think digital money will make the transactions also go faster and also be more secure.
And what would that mean then for the merchants? What would it mean in terms of their growth potential?
So it means the merchants can do more transactions because they're not dealing with cash all the time and waiting around for people to get in a big line. It also means that they can pay their bills quicker, they can pay their suppliers quicker, they can get paid quicker by their customers because it's all digital. They don't have to wait for checks to clear, or here they do. In Barbados, they pay pensions by check still, and the use case there is people get the check, go to the post office, line up, cash the check, get some cash. We could digitize that, for example, for the government here, and people would just get that money into a wallet, not have to go line up, take the chance of carrying the cash home.
Let's talk a little bit about CBDCs. Now, Barbados is known, the sand dollar. Just talk us through a little bit about what you do within this space and what the opportunity is and how it's almost leapfrogging places like the UK.
So wait, it's Bahamas where the sand dollar is.
Bahamas.
Yeah, so the sand dollar is essentially a digitized version of the currency. So it's one-to-one interoperable. It's backed by the central bank, so there's no risk of losing your money. The advantage of using a CBDC is that you can do payments quicker and pay a merchant quicker. The merchant can get their money faster. It's the same sort of situation. What could be a killer use case though for CBDCs in this region is that countries could start doing cross-border transactions and settling between governments, commercial payments. Individuals could send money from Bahamas to Jamaica, for example, with a CBDC, and that would mean instant settlement. So if you're a business, you don't need to wait days for a wire, and if you're sending money back home with Western Union or MoneyGram, for example, same thing, you don't pay a high fee, and the person on the other end gets the money instantly.
Amazing. What's the sand dollars in the Bahamas? What needs to happen for example, for Barbados to?
Yeah, so I was on a panel today talking about CBDCs with the regulator from Barbados and the regulator from the Eastern Caribbean. The regulator from Barbados said that they are investigating doing a CBDC, and they're looking at what other markets are doing in that space, looking at the risks. I think that they haven't made a decision yet on whether they're going to support one or not. What they did say, though, is that they thought a good use case was cross-border transactions, which tells me they're probably thinking about doing it here.
Excellent, excellent. And in terms of you guys at Island Pay, what would that mean for you if hypothetically Barbados instantly like that creates something which can communicate with, say, the sand dollar?
Yeah, so ideally, if they created a CBDC here, they would start doing all the government payments in CBDC, paying government salaries, paying vendors, paying those pensions, and that would mean faster, cheaper payments for everybody. It would completely change the way business is done.
Now, the last thing I want to touch on, I want to talk about this event. First time they've had it, how have you found it? What's been the overall, what have been some of the interactions that you've been having here?
Yeah, so good question. So I came to this event not knowing what to expect. I knew it was going to be a small event. I was at Consensus earlier this year. I got a lot out of that. I probably got a lot, as much as I did a Consensus out of this event, to be completely honest. And the reason for me is that everyone here is in the fintech space and everyone wants to network. All of the vendors want to talk to us. All the other wallets want to get together and talk about collaborations. Everyone's available in a small space, so it was easy to have meetings because we're all on the same property. It was a really good event. I would certainly come back again.